Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video, we are looking at MaxLinear, and this stock has had a very impressive run in April, doing a 6x in the span of 5 weeks. If that's not impressive, I don't know what is. And even though it hasn't done much since May, I actually believe it is just getting prepared for the next move to the upside, which I strongly expect to be quite impressive as well. Maybe not to the same extent it has been so far, but I believe we can actually capture great value here. Now, for context, the larger time frame perspective, the larger time frame structure, not a very impressive one in my opinion. I would either have to consider that this would have been an ABC pattern in a wave A, or a leading diagonal, yeah? Nothing particularly impressive. This could work out as a 1-2 setup. Frankly, I do not really care what has happened throughout this, what is it, even more than a decade actually. I am most interested specifically on this move to the upside where it's picked up so nicely. So I have the option to either consider probably a double 1-2 setup here or just a single 1-2 setup here. Fortunately, this doesn't really affect us as I expect this move to the upside to actually be extending within one more high. So even if it is only building this as 3 waves up, I believe we are looking still for continuation to higher prices in the case of this internal structure. So what I'm tracking more specifically is the idea of an impulse where this would have been a bottom within a wave 2, potentially a wave B, doesn't actually matter, where this structure would have quite possibly already bottomed within this as a wave 4, where this structure could already be forming the wave 5 to the upside, which, depending on what is really happening on a larger time frame perspective, could end up becoming quite extended. Now, to be honest, it is actually still possible this wave 3 had never actually topped and that the next wave up would actually still be part of this movement to the upside, but I decided to track the deepest levels of support I could consider for this structure, which is down to the 50% retracement at $41, as even within this scenario, where the wave 3 would have a top in, the wave 4 would have already fulfilled the minimum expectations. It would have completed 3 waves down into the first level of support, the 23.6% retracement. So nothing else is actually needed before we can look for continuation within this wave 5. Then we move into the smaller time frame where I am looking for a potential initial 5V move to the upside, which I believe might require one additional high. I do want it to be clear that I have 2 scenarios here, where either the wave 1 would have topped, then the wave 2 could have bottomed as well. But primarily, the main idea would be that I track the levels of support down to the 78.6% extension down to $73. And realistically, without a sustained break below this level, the probabilities to extend directly higher wouldn't be very affected. So, since within this as a wave 2 we have already reached the levels of support, we can consider 3 waves down. I do have to consider it possible for a bottom to be in. Now, given the move up, this move up, I am more inclined to believe that the wave 2 would actually form a reset. I would prefer that, but ultimately, I would still expect the levels of support to be holding. I'll repeat myself, I do not want to see a sustained break below the 78.6% retracement. Then, as I was saying, it would still be possible for this wave 1 to be extending even further, where we would actually only have 3 waves up. This would be the 4th down, and right now the wave 5 would be in formation. In this scenario, I would strongly expect that I do not get a reset within this wave 4, that the wave 4 has already bottomed and the wave 5 is on its way. And let's say we track this scenario within the yellow interpretation, and I would actually dare to allow this to be a leading diagonal. So the levels of support would have extended down to $79.40, but it didn't actually break even the 50% retracement, so I believe this interpretation is still intact, and I could see 3 waves up form a marginally higher high within this wave 5, and then we would need to look once more for the reset within the wave 1 top, and I would need to look for the next wave 2 to the downside, which most likely would end up in the region of this wave 4 bottom. That would be the most typical region to look for a bottom for me. And it could be a bit higher, especially considering we have significant structural support in this area. But it is a bit early at this point, and we do not even know if we don't already have the top within the wave 1, and if the wave 3 isn't already in formation. Now, in the case of this stock, especially since this move up is actually quite damaged, I do not favor that a bottom is in, especially within the white wave 2. I would strongly prefer that we build an extension of the white wave 2. We have then a wave A down here, potentially a wave B up, and a wave C that would ultimately lead to a complete reset, possibly heading into the 50% retracement region. Quite a nice area to bottom as well. We have structural support here. Then even below that, actually, the 61.8% retracement is very, very interesting. With all of that said, I cannot predict which of these scenarios will play out. So even at this point, looking for a core position could be quite interesting. And in terms of resistance, what I would primarily consider would be up to the 78.6% retracement for this is wave B. Although I do caution that especially within such strong moves, such bullish patterns, it isn't uncommon to get even an overshoot, despite the fact that this would actually be a wave 2, and overshoots are typically more common within a wave 4. But yeah, primarily I'd be watching up to $92, and if we manage to get a sustained break above that level, it would start improving the odds of a bottom. But as I can already see, getting rejected at the various levels of resistance we have so far gotten to in this orange resistance area, right? The 38.2% retracement here, then the 50% retracement here. I do have to favor once more a reset within this white wave 2. So for now we can stop here, and if you want even more from me, you can check out the Patreon. But other than that, these are the levels, this is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and if you enjoyed the content and want to support it directly, check out the channel membership, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.